CPD webinar with the recitation of Kitab Al-Fatiha. Bismillah. Surah Al-Nabi. Alhamdulillah, to all the professors, associate professors, doctors, brothers and sisters, and to our distinguished speaker, Dr. Rafidah binti Sahar. Once again, welcome to our monthly CPD webinar. And today we will dive into the sharing session on scholarship of teaching and learning, SOTL. Brothers and sisters, as academics, we are deeply engaged in research, be it in medical sciences, for example. From me, I'm from medical and health sciences. And for you, either you are engineering, architecture, or any field that you are doing, we constantly seek for evidence, testing hypotheses, and publishing our findings. But as an academic, one of our main tasks also is in teaching. So yeah, if we pause for a moment, how often do we apply the same evidence-based approach to our teaching practices? Many of us, including me, rely on experience or intuition, but perhaps not always on systematic inquiry. The Scholarship of Teaching and Learning, or SOTL, invites us to view our classrooms as spaces of scholarly investigation, where we can evaluate, refine, and improve our teaching in ways that truly enhance student learning. So this session, inshallah, is an opportunity for us to reflect on our own practices and to explore how adopting a scholarly lens can elevate the impact of what we do every day as educators, as teachers, and as lecturers, inshallah. So with that, we have our speaker, Dr. Rafidah binti Sahar, from the Kulliyyah of Sustainable Tourism and Contemporary Languages, Kassel, to share with us, inshallah, on this topic. Before we begin, we usually would welcome our Director of CPD, Prof. Mira, to deliver her welcoming remarks, which maybe Prof. Mira wouldn't be able to join us today. So inshallah, with that, I'll introduce our speaker. Dr. Rafidah Sahar holds a Bachelor in Education in TESOL from the University of Warwick, UK, a Master's in English Literature from the University of Malaya, and a PhD from the University of Manchester, UK. She began her teaching career at Mara Junior Science College, MRSM, before joining IIUM as a lecturer at CELPAD. Upon completing her doctorate, she transitioned into her current role as senior lecturer at the Department of English Language, Kulliyyah of Sustainable Tourism and Contemporary Languages. Dr. Rafidah contributes actively in teaching, supervision, research, and community engagement. She has led grant-funded projects involving both local and international communities, including youth and women entrepreneurs. In 2023, she received the IIUM Takrim Teaching Innovation Award for her work in project-based learning. Her research interests include English language studies, intercultural communication, and sociolinguistics. Her professional engagements include participating in a national level roundtable on cultural diplomacy, hosted by the Institute of Diplomacy and Foreign Relations, IDFR, and facilitating the Ministry of Higher Education Setara Quality Assurance exercise. She is currently engaged in collaborative research and teaching initiatives with practitioners in Indonesia and in the UK. Alhamdulillah, together with us, Dr. Rafidah will be sharing with us on the topic of SOTL. Before we begin, important notes: CTD points will be awarded to those who fill in the I attend, recorded in Zoom attendance for a minimum of certain duration, and fill in the evaluation form within 24 hours after we complete this session, inshallah. For that, I would like to invite our speaker, Dr. Rafidah. The floor is yours. Please welcome.
Thank you, Dr. Ashraf. Assalamualaikum and very good morning to our distinguished audience, professors, associate professors, doctors, sisters and brothers. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for coming in online to listen to us, my sharing on project-based learning. So let me try and share. Okay. So first of all, thank you, Dr. Ashraf, for such a lovely introduction. It feels a bit, it feels weird to be read your whole career-wise in 1 minute. But thank you so much. Okay, so today I'm very, very thrilled to be here to share my journey through project-based learning informed by scholarships of teaching and learning. So my focus today is on the grounded practice, how the principle of SOTLs have enriched my approach to project-based learning in my classroom. Okay, so let's go through the agenda for today. Inshallah, we will be covering 6 main points, which is we will revisit SOTL, and then we're gonna go on the adventure of my journey with project-based learning, and then we're going to delve into what is project-based learning, and then we're gonna look into the pedagogical synergies of integrating problem-based and also community-based learning. And then we are going to look at project-based learning in action, what have been done. And finally, hopefully, inshallah, charting the path forward for this transformative approach to teaching and learning. Okay, so first of all, let's revisit SOTL. What is it actually? I think Dr. Ashraf has summarized the basic, the essential components of what is SOTL and why it is important. So, first of all, let's look into definitions and purpose of SOTL. It is a reflective, evidence-based approach to improving teaching and learning in higher education. It involves systematic inquiry into practice with the goal of enhancing student learning and sharing findings publicly. So, earlier model emphasized inquiry process where we look into goals, methods, result, reflexivity. However, current developments have shown that there's a shift in terms of what is expected from SOTL. We have evolved from classroom practice to reflection, to a strategic tool for curriculum, innovation, professional development, and of course, institutional change. So we cannot deny that SOTL has a strategic role in higher education where it advances teaching quality and curriculum innovation. It supports professionals, especially educators, career growth in teaching focus roles. We promote global values in learning, and we strengthen teaching excellence framework across level. However, let me see. I lost my... Okay. However, SOTL is not without tensions. Okay, so the epistemological tensions regarding SOTL would be challenges in, whether it is a pedagogical research or is it action research. Yeah, and then especially challenges in defining scholarly legitimacy, especially for non-education specialists, and also the ongoing debate whether it's teaching or research. Yeah, and there's also lack of consensus on valid outputs for promotion and recognitions in SOTL. Recent study shows that there are many challenges faced by Malaysian educators in teaching and learning. Okay, one of the main challenges would be lack of knowledge as subject expert. So this might rise or stem from anxiety, from lack of mastery, pressure to meet student expectations, and lack of passion towards teaching as a profession. The second biggest challenge would be the generation-wide effects, where the students have over-reliance on technology, especially with the surge of artificial intelligence enhanced application. There's also challenges in terms of classroom management and also student disengagement without tech tools. We have over-reliance and we also have unequal access to technologies, which is also a challenge. Okay, and next we have limited grounding in teaching methodology. Most teachers, especially novice teachers, they tend to repeat what they have been taught with the same approach of the things that they have been taught. Yeah, and then there's no more formal training or mentoring, and they also struggles with time management and planning. Okay, so before we go on, I would like everybody to join me into these short sessions of brain teaser. So if you could scan the QR code and then answer the question. Let's see. Give it a minute. Is it working?
We are waiting for, yeah, it says we wait for the presenter to change slides. So yeah, now we are seeing the questions.
You see the question?
Yeah. Maybe you can click on the link, Doctor, so that it goes to the Menti application.
I see. Okay. Let me see. I have 28. Okay.
Yep.
Is it showing? It's not showing, is it?
Yeah, so you've already unshared. So if you can share your screen again and then go to the Mentimeter application and
Okay,
maybe
okay.
you can have a look at the app.
Okay.
Yeah, this one. Oh, sorry, this is still Canva. Click on the
Presentation.
tab.
Okay.
Yeah, the Mentimeter
Is it
tab.
this one?
Yes. So you can present.
Okay, so let's see. So view results. So we can see that. Let's see.
Can you click on the present button? There's the
Oh yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Natasha. Okay, this is also, I'm also included in the challenges for teachers actually, dealing with technology. But alhamdulillah. Okay, so let's look at the results for today. So we have 23 of us are aware practitioners. We have 6 naive practitioners, we have 2 advanced practitioners, and we have 1 exchange. Okay, so it's still going up, naive practitioners. So what does it mean when it comes to levels as educators? Okay, so it's increasing 24. All right. Okay, so according to Hollins, there are four stages of educators before they went on training. Okay, this is based in the three categories. So the first stage will be experienced practitioners, naive novice, aware novice, and advanced novice. And these four stages, they have different reactions to teaching, teacher learning, and also responsibilities. So when we look at extreme practitioners, they show uncertainty, lack of clarity when it comes to their role as educator. When it comes to teacher learning, they just follow procedures and there is no attempt to make any adjustments. And in terms of responsibilities, they recognize issues, but they do not take corrective action. For naive novice, in terms of teaching, they show lack of confidence and they feel inadequate in terms of mastery of subject. When it comes to teacher learning, they follow procedures, struggle with challenges, no plan or reflections. And when it comes to responsibilities, naive novice tend to blame others and take no action. However, with aware novice educators, when it comes to teaching, they felt more confident. However, they are still show uncertainty in terms of their role as educators. In terms of teaching, learning, they gain insights. However, they do limited adjustment. In terms of responsibilities, they show some reflections, however, they are unsure of the problem source. And finally, more advanced novice, they will recognize that teaching alone is not enough. Yeah, and then in terms of teacher learning, they are self-regulated and they consulted literature, especially looking on current pedagogies. And in terms of responsibilities, they took responsibilities and then they made improvement in their own career. So this is why it is important for SOTL, so that the lecturers or the educators are supported and they have the opportunities to share and improve when it comes to their career growth. Okay, so let's look at why SOTL, why now? Okay, so there are 6 reasons why SOTL matters now. First, because there's limited research on teaching scholar developments. We have lack of empirical studies on how new teaching scholars are developed. We also, because the curriculum is transitioning to outcome-based learning, so SOTL can support educators in navigating the transition through reflections and innovation. There's also a need for leadership empowerment, where SOTL encourages collaborative inquiry and professional agency among scholars. In terms of insufficient pedagogical training, there are still also a need of a showcase or framework for systematic improvement and reflective practice among educators especially. And then we also need to contextualize teaching and learning within Malaysia, as we consist of multicultural, multi-religious, multi-languages. So SOTL helps build this context-sensitive pedagogical knowledge that will reflects our diversity. And finally, I think one of the most important of SOTL now to educators especially is to establish communities of practice. Therefore, we will be part of something bigger, something bigger than our local landscape. Okay, so we have another brain teaser. Okay, so I promise this is the last one. Okay. So if you would like to scan the QR code, let me see if I can get this as well. I don't know whether, because I have two. Don't know how to go to the other one. Oh, yeah. It's fine. Oh, we already have. You managed to yeah, with your teaching. Okay, this is the question. Let's see. So the question. Okay, this is the question actually. If your teaching journey were a book, what would its title be? This is also to sum up what we have done so far. Let's see if you're teaching. This kind of question, if you notice, it's a part of reflection, reflective inquiry, where we have to actually, where we would have to actually reflect on what we have done so far in our span of, 5 years, 3 years, 10 years, in my case, 17 years, 18 years. Okay, let's look at what we have now. I'll give you another 2 minutes so that everybody can join in and reflect. I like this one, waking up to the reality. Tear and joy of teaching journey. Ranjau sepanjang jalan. Shahlan Ahmad. Ups and downs of my teaching experiences. Expect the unexpected condition. How my students nurture me as an educator. Guiding hands, glowing futures. We are all students. How I wish my lecturing career be. Teaching future generations. How to win a student soul. And oh, this is very optimistic. Fun learning. Yeah, teaching should be fun. Learning should be fun as well. Oh, okay. Confused. Student for life. My student is my teacher. Okay, and you can also, vote actually to, you can press enter to start voting. You can press space to put responses. What are responses? Sorting the circles from squares. We love technology, don't we? So we have student growth, we have emotional journey, we have lifelong learning, and we also have unexpected events. Like while waiting for new responses, I am very happy if any of the audience would like to share your thoughts, why your title would be as is. Anyone? I welcome anyone who would like to explain, not explain, like share, why do you think that the title of your teaching journey would be as such?
The guiding hands, glowing futures is a very catchy one. Maybe that person can further enlighten us on that one. Very interesting. If you don't
Guiding hand.
like, maybe I want to take it as my book chapter. Would you like to present maybe the participant who wrote that one?
Yes, please. Let us make this session interactive. It's a sharing session, so everybody is welcome to give their insights. Since the day is still young and early, let's do it. Teacher practitioners is always the best approach. Oh, Never-ending story. What do you mean by never-ending story? Okay, so I'm gonna try press space to show group. So we have seen that in terms of the theme of the titles can be categorized into 4 so far: student growth, emotional journey, lifelong learning, and unexpected events. Oh, that's interesting, actually, unexpected events. What do you mean by unexpected events? Okay, so thank you. See, thank you for your participation. I promise that is the last one. Okay. Do I go back here? Okay, so let's look at, thank you for sharing the titles of your teaching journey. So this is how I summarize my SOTL journey. It is powered by coffee, curiosity, and of course, passion. So throughout my SOTL journeys, it is characterized by 5 main points. Okay, first, reflections to research-informed practice. So there's a shift from intuitive decision-making to a more deliberate evidence-informed process, where SOTLs has become a lens for critically examining what works for whom and why in my classroom. Okay. In terms of projects, classes, activities, now I design for relevance and inclusivity, meaning that it is important in my teaching practice now to design culturally responsive materials that celebrate learners' diversity and ensure that the subjects are relevant across contexts. I also believe that my journey at this point of time is to collaborate and mentor both my fellow friends as well as my students. They are merely as colleagues or merely as students, they are actually co-inquirers. We encourage each other, we motivate each other, we allow opportunities to each other to reflect, have some sort of power over our own learning, and also have the courage to question assumptions in pursuit of meaningful learning. So in the classroom, I believe in being open to students and to any suggestions and to discuss things productively. Next, I believe in integrating experiential models for deeper learning. So the learning environment must be dynamic. Therefore, the students can actually connect what they've learned in the classroom and apply it outside the classroom. And finally, bridging scholarship and social responsibility, especially multi-excellence. We use our scholarship teaching and learning not just to enhance pedagogy, but to contribute to ethical, community-driven change. Okay, next, let's look at into what is project-based learning. So there are a range there's a range of definitions in the literature. So I just presenting the relevant ones. So what is it? It is a pedagogical approach that requires intentional planning, thinking, and development. It is active, it's context-specific learning, which is driven by real-world problems. It's rooted in authentic learning experience, real experiences that extend the classroom boundaries. It's also
Assalamualaikum, Dr. Rafidah, sorry to interrupt. What is it the same thing, the project-based learning and PBL? Last time they have the problem-based learning, which was very popular, and after that, then disappeared. Is it something the old wines in the new bottle, or is something new approach altogether?
Thank you, Doctor. So we are going to look at problem-based learning later on, and we are going to look at how they are similar and different in nature. Is that okay?
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. So that is an interesting question. So I postpone that to our next discussion. Okay. So let's go back to what is project-based learning first. So it's rooted in authentic learning. It is student-centered instructional approach. It a methods that encompass assessment as learning, assessment for learning, and assessment of learning. It is a flexible framework. Okay, note the word flexible. That can be leveraged within existing curriculum structures, and also it can integrate other approaches. Yeah, and finally, project-based learning believes where the learners construct knowledge through inquiry, collaborations, and tangible outcomes. Okay. Before we go deeper into what makes a project-based learning, what makes learning a project-based learning, let's look into its theoretical foundation first, so that we will be able to contextualize positions the teaching approach. So yeah, project-based learning is rooted in social constructivism theory, especially Piaget and Vygotsky and Dewey, where knowledge is co-constructed through collaboration, dialogue, and community engagement, and where learners build understanding through individual inquiry, hands-on experimentations, and personal reflections. So one of the theories that PGBL, project-based learning, it's well situated would be Kolb's experiential learning cycle. So let's look into what is it actually. So Kolb's introduced experiential learning cycle, which is a holistic learning model rooted in the idea that learning is a continuous process that is grounded in experience. Especially in English language teaching, okay, knowledge is created through experience, not just through students absorbing information passively. So the learning model advocates for more experiential student-centered education, and then the learning itself must be relevant and to the learner's life, meaning that there is no separations from what you've learned in the classroom to what you need to do outside of the classroom. And then the model introduces the learner cycles, how learners go through the learning process through 4 stages. Okay, we have concrete experience, reflective observation, abstract conceptualizations, and active experimentation. Okay, so putting together, how would it look like? Okay, so if you look at the diagram, you can see that it is a process, and there are 4 stages, and involve the process of learning in terms of thinking, feeling, doing, watching. Yeah, so we start with abstract conceptualization, where students are thinking, they think about the idea, okay, existing abstracts that they have learned from their experience, and then they feel, so they encounter a concrete experience. This might be new experience. What do they feel about it? Is it relevant? Is it not relevant? And then they reflect. They're watching, reflects on the new experience in the light of their existing knowledge, and finally they actually doing it. Yeah, and then the cycle starts again. So according to Kolb's, learning is the process whereby knowledge is created through the transformations of experience. Learning can only happen when the students go through the 4 stages. Okay, so putting everything together, education, where it involves learners in meaningful real-world problems through experiential, collaborative, and reflective processes. And this is mirrored by Kolb's cycles of learning, where learning is dynamic and iterative and meaningful. And educators' role in project-based learning is to facilitate by designing tasks that will empower their critical thinkings, that will ask them to reflect, and at the same time we'll be able to assess both the summative and formative learning outcomes. Okay, and then in terms of reframing learning, project-based learning created conditions for learners to transform experiences into insight, meaning by doing and thinking. Okay, so these are the characteristics of project-based learning. First, it must be product or service oriented. The outcomes of project-based learning would be tangible outcome. Yeah, you must produce a product or a service. So going back to the questions just now, what is the difference between project-based learning and problem-based learning? Okay, so one of the main differences would be the product itself. With problem-based learning, the products can be tangible or intangibles. Yeah, when, for example, when you are solving a problem, the product can be a concept or ideas. Yeah, but for project-based learning, it has to be in a form of tangible items, that whether it produce a product or service. When it comes to learners' autonomy, students are self-directed learners guided by instructors as consultant. It is reflective and collaborative. So reflections and sharing, must be embedded throughout the process in order for it to be project-based learning. And finally, is an integrations of skills like communication, critical thinking, and problem-solving skills. So what does it take to design and facilitate effective project-based learning experiences in the classroom? So there are 7 items or 7 components that educators must be aware of. First, the lesson must be engaging and there must be need to know. Yeah. And then there must be compelling driving questions to kickstart the project. Third, student autonomy in resource use and collaboration. So they must have access and also they must be given some sort of freedom in utilizing the resources as fit to their need in the project. The fourth one, it should empower their critical thinking and also inquiry. Next, we cannot deny the importance of technology, especially to enhance the interactions among the students itself and also between the students and also the receiving community. Then we must have feedback and revision cycles. It's important because it informs the project-based learning experiences. And finally, since it needs a tangible outcomes, the presentations of the whole project must be delivered to a real audience. If you have any questions, just feel free to say hello, okay? Okay, next. So there's a model of project-based learning.
Assalamualaikum. Sorry to interrupt.
Waalaikumsalam, Doctor.
Okay, I have a very interesting question to ask with
okay.
regard to the previous slides.
Is it this one?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, I love the idea about how we are to give the autonomy to the student to use whatever resources they want to use. All right, and in tandem with the advancement in technology sekarang ni, we cannot run from things like AI, ChatGPT, all those sorts of things, right? So looking at this, idea of how we are to empower the students to use technology, when I look at this, like Webster 2012, they are not yet exposed to the reality of AI yang macam kita ada today, which challenge the students' ability to think. Sebenarnya, they copy and paste. Yes, no doubt, this is the trend. But how are we going to control this kind of use of technology to enhance interaction? They limit themselves to use their own intelligence to interact. They use the AI intelligence to interact dengan kita. And then when it comes to presentation, memanglah bombastic. So boleh tak? Can you please guide us in terms of this technology usage?
Thank you, Doctor. I think this is an ongoing debate whether technology actually helps us in, especially lecturers, help us in delivering our teaching effectively, or whether it helps the students to engage with our teaching or engage with their learning effectively. When it comes to AI, I do use AI in my classroom, but instead of saying that, you shouldn't, instead of this is my own personal view, instead of saying that you shouldn't copy and paste, I actually encourage them to use ChatGPT as their peer. they have to treat ChatGPT or any AI platform, Gemini, Copilot, or even there are many AI enhanced platforms. Treat them as your peers. Instead of, you have to pick their brain, well, the artificial brain. Yeah, ask questions, ask guiding questions to help you with your assignments. So they have to use, in my classroom, my students have to use questions instead of saying that, please write an essay for me. So they have to ask questions like, what are the best way for me to answer or to write a report on this? What are the guiding questions? Or come up with the list of questions that I can use, or come up with the list of journals, authentic journals that I have to read in order for me to come up with this paper. In my opinion, I think it's important to make AI as part of our teachings supplementary materials. The more we resist technology, I think it will become, how do I say it? It will become more difficult for us to navigate, because whether we like it or not, AI is going to be here, part of our teaching and learning, part of the students' learning as well. But we need to guide the students. I know it's easier said than done, yeah, but then guide the students on how to effectively use AI in their learning as part of their learning, not that the whole goal of their learning is to have ChatGPT write essays for them. I don't know whether I've answered your question, Doctor. But it needs a lot of course, it needs a lot of training for educators as well, how to find the most effective way of navigating the balance of AI in our classroom.
Very, very clear. But no, I want to highlight, I like your opinion when it comes to ask those AI questions instead of answers. I will be, following that kind of idea. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doctor. Okay, so let's go back to this framework by Bab Institute of Education, because I use this as well when I am designing a project-based learning assessment or activity for my students, because I believe that these 7 elements in this framework or in this model helps deliver the learning objective. First of all, the project must involve real-world context, tasks and tools, quality standards or impact, where the project speaks to personal concerns, interests, and issues in the student's life. You have to make sure that the students like this. One effective ways of doing this is to actually ask the students what matters in your life now, irrelevant to the subject, of course. Like, what matters in your life now? What do we that sometimes when you scroll TikTok, because I do scroll TikTok, I'm guilty of that. Sometimes to pass the time, I scroll TikTok to actually find what are the current issues, what went viral or not, because I'm teaching intercultural communication as well as language society. So it is important for me to know what's going on, so that I can relate to the students, and also make sure that we are able to use authentic materials in our classroom. Second, that the problems or the issues must be meaningful to solve, like there's some sort of substance or weight for it to be solved, because that will create motivations among students. A third one, there must be a sustained inquiry process, meaning that they need to be engaged in rigorous and then continuous process of asking questions. How do we do this? To keep the project must be alive, basically. Yeah, because you need to keep the momentum of students being interested in the project in order for them to deliver or resolve it. The next one is critique and revision. So students must be able to give, receive, and apply feedback to improve their process and products, meaning that there'll be a consistent and constant reflection within the project itself. 7 would be reflections. So both students and teachers will have to reflect on the learning, meaning that project-based learning requires teachers' participations, active participations, rather than, it's not, of course, it's not one directional, but lecturers' reflection is included part of it. This is towards the end. Okay. Number 5, students' voice and choice. So, as I said, students are given opportunities to impose autonomies, choices about the project, like how they will work, what they are going to do, and then they are able to show to us how they want to contribute, ways they can contribute, because we need to understand that students come with their own sets of challenges. So by letting them choose how much they can contribute will be very beneficial in the long term. Finally, as public product, students make their project work public by sharing it with and explaining or presenting it to the targeted communities, and finally reflections. Okay, so these 7 framework will actually be helpful for those who want to start designing project-based learning activities. So this brings us to why project-based learning matters. Okay, so first, it aligns with our curriculums that emphasize the development of 21st century skills and higher order thinking abilities, since students are given opportunities along the way to be critical of their decisions, to reflect, to revise, and then to be involved in authentic issues. Second, in project-based learning, most of the activities encourage students to be be creative in learning, yeah, and these can generate their own interest in learning, in solving, making it work. Third, project-based learning enhance academic achievement, engagement, and knowledge retention. Next, it matters because it encourages our students to participate meaningfully via experience, rather than sitting down in the classroom, listening to us while at the same time listening to TikTok. Yeah. And finally, yes, project-based learning fosters critical thinking, communication, collaboration, also self-regulated learning. Okay, now, as I mentioned earlier on, project-based learning is a flexible framework. Yeah, it allows the integrations of many other approaches, yeah, to make it more meaningful. So let's look at, I think one of the most popular approaches that always being compared to project-based learning would be problem-based learning. So let's look at how they are similar or how they are different, okay, in terms of 4 main components. First, the starting point. If you look at here, project-based learning, the starting point would have a very clear defined problem or challenge. Yeah, while problem-based learning usually starts with guiding questions that provoke inquiry and explorations, because the problems can be hypothetical, yeah, in problem-based learning. When it comes to focus in project-based, the focus is product focus, meaning that learners work toward creating a tangible outcome. While for problem-based, it is problem-focused. We emphasize on analyzing and solving real-world issues without the need of coming up with specific products, so a product in our hands. In terms of learner autonomy, it offers high autonomy, meaning that students are given the opportunities to explore, to design, and innovate freely. They have full control. Not, I would say full control, maybe 70% control, because the lectures must be there to monitor. Okay, in terms of problem-based learning, it has moderate autonomy. Usually, when it comes to discussions, it will be structured guidance, yeah, but the students are given some room to express their thoughts independently. In terms of contextual relevance, project is anchored in authentic real-world contexts with high relevance and application, because they have to come up with a tangible outcome. While for problem-based, is usually we use simulated or hypothetical scenarios to explore complexity. For example, when we talk about if one day AI will rule the world, what would you do? So that would be a more problem-based kind of guiding inquiry, while project-based would be, how can we make AI safer in our classroom, especially in high school or maybe in primary school, for example. So they have to come up with a more tangible outcome. So I hope these will be helpful to the first doctor who asked me about the differences between problem-based and project-based. I hope I have answered your question, doctor. Okay. Okay, so when we actually combine, okay, PBL and PGBL, how does it look like? Okay. So we can see here that there are 6 ways or 6 benefits of actually 6 benefits to learners to the learning process when you are combining the 2 approaches. The first one is you will have deeper connective engagement. Yeah, because PBL's inquiry-driven approach encourages learners to analyze, evaluate, and synthesize, and then at the same time, it enhances the critical thinking within the project base, because now they have to materialize the concepts that they have come up with. So from idea to product, okay? And then it creates flexible scaffolding. So PBL offers structured questioning, which can guide learners through complex project phases while supporting autonomy without sacrificing clarity when they have to actually come up with the project. It enhances real-world relevance because we combine authentic project with real-world problem scenario. We also support diverse learner profiles, because in a group, a project usually involves a team of students working together. So by integrating these 2 approaches, you are giving opportunities from different learners to work together, and they are able to showcase their strength. Yeah, rather than giving advantage to certain learner characteristics. So this combination actually celebrates different types of learners. Improve transfer of learning. So learners develop transferable skills, problem framing, collaboration, iterative design that can apply within and outside classroom. And finally, you will have stronger educator agency where you can customize learning experiences, by, between inquiry, project executions, and then goals and then needs. Okay, the next approach that is often combined with project-based would be community-based learning. Okay, before I go to community-based learning, is there any questions with problem-based learning, or it is okay for me to move forward? Great, thank you. Silence means everyone agrees. Okay, so since project-based learning is most effective on solving real problems, it is also more impactful when you are working together with targeted communities. Yeah. So what is CBL? It is an educational approach where students learn by accomplishing projects or developing services for communities. So we are taking, instead of learning in the classroom, now we are bringing the learning outside the classroom, and which not just benefit the students, but benefit the surrounding communities as well. So what are the benefits? There are 4 benefits of integrating.
Rafidah?
Yeah.
Sorry, I just post my question in the chat.
Okay. Can you read it, the questions for me, because I don't know how to
Oh,
read.
okay. Okay. Let's say if I use a real world scenarios that is complex enough for my students, instead of theoretical and hypothetical scenarios, as shared in the slides earlier.
Which one
And
is
there
it?
is
This one?
no, yeah, yeah, this one. Okay. In the PBL, is it?
Yes,
It
problem-based.
says that um the contextual relevance often uses simulated or hypothetical scenario to explore complexity. But if let's say I use real world scenario, but it is complex enough for my students, and it doesn't have any physical product as the output, would it be considered as PBL?
Would it be considered as problem-based?
Yeah, problem based.
Yes, as long as you have
Okay.
questions that needs to be resolved,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and the question is complex enough, meaning that it requires some sort of thinking, requires some sort of efforts from the students in
So
resolving the
it doesn't always have to be hypothetical scenarios, is it?
No, it doesn't have to be.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And one more question. For it to be considered as project-based learning, is it only limited to hard product as the output, or it can be, solution to problems and presented in the form of posters? Is that do we consider that as the uh tangible outcome as well?
I would say if that solutions can be implemented into regulation.
I see. Okay,
For
thank you.
example, it is taken and then practice, then yeah, because it has to be something tangible. It cannot be like an idea that you have. I mean, you can start with ideas, right? For example, we should have a set of regulations where the students will adhere to when dealing with AI in the classroom. But then we actually take that idea and put it into writing, and we how do I say it? And we actually apply it as part of our classroom regulation. So when you can actually see it, apply it in real life, then that can be as a result of project-based learning, from my
Okay,
opinion.
thank you.
Okay.
Very clear, Doctor.
Alhamdulillah. Okay, where were we? Okay. So integrating PGBL with CBL. So I'm sure that a lot of us are familiar with Usrah in Action courses. Yeah. Okay. So I am actually very grateful to be able to take part in Usrah in Action courses, because um, it gives me and my students the opportunity to reach out to the communities. Yeah, because now we have a purpose to actually extend what we have done in the classroom to the real life, to the real world. So I think this is when community-based learning and project-based
And
learning.
Rafidah, I got a very typical question here.
Okay,
Uh,
Doctor, there's no typical questions. There are only good questions. Come.
yeah, when you talk about PBL, there is a tension between what the MQA has approved as a syllabus and course outlines that you have to complete maybe in 14 weeks' time. And then you got the PBL, which has a lot of assignment and then field work and then so many things. So how we are going to compromise between the expectation of the approving authority, because we cannot offer the courses without MQA approval, am I right? And then on the other side, when we go this model, PBL and whatnot, I mean, I'm for sure, safely speaking, 50% or 60%, there are the course contents expected and the MQA to be, I mean, delivered in the class. That, of course, is no way in the given semester system and then the MQA approval. So what's your takeaway on this?
Okay, when it comes to curriculum, we do have constraints in terms of time, right, Doctor? We have 14 weeks,
Time constraints
yeah, we have time
and
constraint,
also the
definitely.
compromise in the course contents that has been approved. And there is a prescribed text and there is the reading materials, and then especially for the master level students, there is a lot of things they have to read, they have to do assignments, etc. Excellent.
Yes, that I feel you. I do feel that that is something that we need to highlight to the university and to find solutions, because there's always tension between you know, what's on paper, right? And what's happening in the classroom. And as a lecturer, as educator, we are actually in the middle of it. Yeah. We have to make decisions where we will not sacrifice students' learning, but at the same time, we will also satisfy the requirement of the curriculum. Yeah, I have no actually.
So this is where the issue is. This need to go to maybe the Dean's Council, when the deans have to deliberate, and also then go to the Senate, because the Senate over there, you have our internal IIUM, because we at IIU have been given the opportunity to be self-accreditation with some universities. Not all the universities are given that idea. So we have the internal unit within IIUM, which actually go, and they must agree. Otherwise, we as the lecturers, we are not doing the justice, and our integrity would be question mark.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you for sharing your opinions. Perhaps CPD can also take note of this and figure out, the best way to inform our lecturers.
Yeah, I'd like to join the discussion with regards to MQA assessment. Most often, the guidelines are to make sure that the learning outcomes are being catered, and it also maps with all the PLO and so on. So PBL is one of the approach delivery method, which includes others, flipped classroom lectures and so on. So, and the reason why we have curriculum review is most often to see whether those practices are aligned with the MQA's learning outcomes, which has been set for that program, and then make sure that it is also integrates with the credit hour, the contact hours, and so on. So yes, whatever has been approved at the Senate level and so on needs to be followed. But when we do curriculum review, we will review and then make sure that there's a new way to approach it. So, for example, if you believe that problem-based learning or even project-based learning is something that can be applied for certain courses, not all courses or not all, subjects, then it's an avenue for us to improve whatever curriculum that we are dealing with. And yes, there's often that stages, but the opportunity for us as lecturers to see whether our course has certain content that we can deliver using PBL or even project-based learning. And it also should be mapped and integrate with other courses within the program, so that we don't jeopardize one course or one syllabus or another. So I think that's why we bring into the discussion these kind of approaches and find which specific syllabus that suits these approaches or delivery method. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Thank you, Dr. Ashraf. Well explained. Okay, so now, thank you, Doctor, for your concerns just now, for your sharing. And now let's look at project-based learning in action. So these, I'm going to share some of the projects that I've done with my friends, with my students. Okay, so this is a project. So this is also a project that is combining problem-based and project-based learning. So this is a problem-based learning intensive English enhancement program, implications on the development of EFL students' language skills for Perguruan Diniah Puteri. So involves students from Diniah Puteri Padang, Indonesia. Actually, I forgot to put the problems here, it's missing. The problems would be the students in need, the students, basically the teachers approach us and ask us, is there any way for us to help the students to gain or to increase or enhance their language skills? Is there any special approach that we can do in the learning itself so that the students can enhance their language skills? So we decided to, so the project, part of the project will be to integrate problem-based learning as a tool to enhance students' language skills. So the activities that we've done will be focus group. Focus group as a means of collecting the data, asking the students and the lecturers and the teachers what are the main components or main strength or main challenges when it comes to learning or when it comes to English language skills. We also have questionnaire survey. So the deliverables, because this is also actually a project-based learning, so there will be tangible outcomes. So one is intensive language workshop where we had, I think 10 days, 2 weeks language workshop, where we actually come up with scenarios, real-world problems to guide their learning of English language skills. And then we also have activity book developed to help to complement their learning. So the impact reflections will be it enhances their language skills by creating meaningful and purposeful opportunities for authentic language use. So this is an example. If you look at here, so we centered our problems on the 17 SDG goals. Yeah, Sustainable Development Goals. So for example, in Appendix 5, you can see the topic is SDG 3, Good Health and Well-being. The objectives: summarize key information using appropriate vocabulary and sentence structure, analyze and discuss real-world health and well-being issues, express ideas clearly in problem-solving tasks, presentations, and group discussions using relevant health-related vocabulary and grammar, and finally, develop realistic and creative solutions to health challenges presented in the module's problem-based scenarios. We also do a topic on life on land, where the students have to describe the concept of life on land and biodiversity, identify specific problems related to environmental issues, and then finally propose solution to specific problems. So another one is poverty. At the end of the lessons, you should be able to describe what is poverty, identify issues, causes of poverty, measure poverty using Human Development Index, propose solutions to address issues in poverty, and write reflections on their role to combat poverty in their own society. So basically, we use problem-based learning approach in this. Okay, next, the next project involves local communities and also agencies. So the name, so in this project, we want to develop language skill module for employment to enhance economic efficiency among B40 single mothers and women under domestic violence in Perlis. So the participant will be 25 women from B40 groups, unemployed and small, medium entrepreneurs. So the problems that we identified will be they have lack of soft skills for business and employment. So the key activities where we actually gain our we collect our data would be meeting with stakeholders. So in this case, we actually collaborated with Jabatan Pembangunan Wanita Perlis and also Majlis Agama Islam and Istiadat Perlis. And then we also conducted focus group and interview. So what are the deliverables? So we did a workshop, today's workshop, and also we developed module for employment where the students can use, not students, where participants coming from the targeted community can use them. And the impacts, we have positive feedback from the participants. We also have participants who have succeeded in securing jobs. We also have reports that where they succeeded in submitting application for grants for. This is for small, medium entrepreneurs. Okay, so these would be, because this is evidence-based, so these are the examples of the evidence of the whole project itself. So we have the workshop brochure, we have the workshop day 1, we have participant activities, and we also have expert discussions with relevant agencies. Okay, next, okay, so this project is done as part of the project assessment for a course. The course is Language for Intercultural Communication. So the receiving community would be school students. Here in Johor, we work closely with, especially with schools around us. And the participants for this project would be Form 2 and Form 4 students of Sekolah Menengah Kebangsaan Sarsi, Sultan Alauddin Rakyat Shah 1, Pagu, Johor. So the problems that the teachers voice out to us would be, how can they use English effectively? How can the students use English effectively and foster understanding and tolerance among students from different backgrounds? So how do we collect our data, interview with teachers, and then deliverables? We conducted workshops and also activity book to support this. And then the impact reflections, positive feedback from the participants and teachers so far, because this is part of the project assessment in the course itself.
Dr. Rafidah, can you also enlighten us on maybe the assessment? Is it CAM 100%? How do you divide the assessment for these courses, the ones that you've showed using these project-based learning?
Okay, for ENCO 32311, I think the project itself is only 20%. Yeah, but it is part of a larger, meaning that we have presentation as well for 20%.
Okay.
Yeah. So when it comes, there is actually one thing that is interesting to have a discussion on, which is the assessment part when it comes to project-based learning. Because usually when it comes to project-based learning, it integrates so many parts. Yeah, there are so many activities going on, and a good project-based learning would have both summative and formative assessments. Yeah, for example, reflections would be part of the formative one, because and then you would have the report where we're looking at the accuracy in the presentation will be part of the summative. So in this course, all the assessments, we are leaning towards one project, but then there are breakdowns in terms of presentations, in terms of the report itself, in terms of the executions of the project itself. Yeah. So I think, yes, assessment, I think, is one whole issue that, or like, we need one whole session to only talk about assessment, because to come up with rubrics, it's not actually easy. Yeah, because there are so many things you have to cater for. And especially for project-based learning, you have to make sure that it covers both summative and formative assessments.
This one has no final examination, or it does
This
have?
one, no, only coursework.
Okay, so meaning, all right.
Yeah. So the other one, I think this is the last one that I would like to share because of the time constraint. So this is part of our Usrah in Action, SCSH project. Yeah, so I've been doing SSH for, I think, 3 years, almost 3 years, 4 years. Okay, so this is where we look at Masjid Jamek Kuala Lumpur volunteerism in action. We're looking at mosque observation and visitor experience. So the participant would be the staff of Masjid Jamek Kuala Lumpur itself. Okay, so the problems that we identify would be, how can volunteerism enhance initiative by the mosque to promote inclusive heritage experiences? Because Masjid Jamek Kuala Lumpur is one of the historical sites when it comes to the history of Islam in Malaysia, etc. So the key activities, so we had meeting with the mosque management, we did site visit surveys and interview with visitors. So what were the deliverables? So we came up with herbal garden with multilingual signage and also multilingual digital platform for mosque information and feedback. So what were the impacts? Positive feedback from the mosque management, positive feedback from the visitors on the herbal garden, and also feedback platform indicates good engagement. So now we are going to the end of the presentation, where we are charting the path forward for project-based learning. So before we can, in order for us to chart the future of project-based learning, it's important for us to identify what are the constraints that we have. when it comes to project-based learning. First, lack of teacher training experience, and also we have constraint in terms of institutional support and policy, lack of access to materials, technology or community partnerships. Teachers' readiness and facilitation skills is also need improvement. And this is when I mentioned just now about assessment, the assessment complexity. Is actually, we need to sit down and decide what are we assessing the students on, And then the struggle to fit into rigid academic schedules, yes, project-based learning usually takes longer, and then it involves many aspects. Therefore, how do we actually fit this into our curriculum classroom? And then finally, resistance due to extra workload and departure from memorization-based teaching. Yes, it's more complicated, and some educators, might feel, might have resistance towards it. However, there are strategies to support project-based learning and teaching and learning. First, we provide targeted professional development for educators, just like what CPD is doing currently. Use flexible and formative assessment tools, and we have to ensure there are enough supports and resource access to both lecturers and teachers. And most importantly, we have to align our projects with curriculum standards and learning outcomes. And finally, it's important for us to incorporate authentic inquiry-driven tasks with community relevance. So existing literature review done this year have shown that the future of project-based learning is very, very bright. So the review indicated that there has been 800% increase in terms of publications on the topic of project-based learning over 10 years. There's indication of strong growth in STEM and higher education contexts. And this indicates global momentum and cross-national interest when it comes to the relevance of project-based learning in the classroom nowadays. And main contributors are headed by USA and Spain and China. So yes, the future of project-based learning is bright, and I think it is one of the approaches that lecturers can bring into the classroom, and we can provide meaningful learning experiences to both our students as well as our local communities. So that will end my presentation for today. So I welcome any questions. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam.
Dr. Rafidah, thank you for your presentation. I just have a short question. The examples you gave just now is for which subject?
Okay, let me see. Okay, so this is for SCSH. This is a university core under Strah in Action course. And this is for ENCO 2311, which is intercultural language for intercultural communication. And the other two will be, sorry, my battery. Oh, I thought I switched it on, sorry. Okay, too slow. And the other two would be, grant projects that are funded by grants, but then involve our own students, as part of the committee members.
How long are the projects for? How many weeks?
Okay. So for the classroom base, this is a 1 semester. This one semester. And then for the SCSH, it is done in 2 semesters following the curriculum. And then for the grant is a year each.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Do we have any more questions by the participants? Feel free to either
Email me, no problem. You
Uh,
can email me.
yeah,
Yeah.
also you can email. At the same time, since we have another 10 minutes, inshallah, we would want to have fruitful discussions and questions so that we can learn more. I'll just ask some questions to kickstart. I think, yeah, Dr. Nasrin again has already asked a very good question. Oh, here, there's Dr. Razina. May I know if your module is available for reading? Did you publish it and where to buy? Where to buy?
Oh, okay. Which module? Okay, so the modules we actually, like for example, the which modules are you talking about? There are two modules. The one
You
with
can share
the
if you want. Maybe the one any one of the modules that you would like to share. If you do have it being published or available for reading.
yes, I think are they available? Yeah, they're available. Yeah, you can email me later.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Dr. Razina mentioned hopefully there can be a TOT workshop, maybe very specifically to, I think, to even map it with the learning outcomes and setting up the, what do you call that? The assessment and identifying the proper credit hours and so on. Dr. Siti Hadijah mentioned, what is the credit hours for your program?
3 hours for the classroom base. Yeah.
Okay, it's 3 credit hours. Any more questions? I'd like to kind of bring back the discussion. We've delved into a bit more in depth into the project-based learning as some of the, I think, outcome of scholarship of what do you call that, teaching and learning, maybe identifying that this is a suitable or something new to improve our teaching and learning. But maybe just on the topic on scholarship of teaching and learning, how do or conduct any kind of objective assessment looking at this method and the previous method, and then so looking at a more kind of scholarly lens to identify different approaches, and how did you do it, and what were the tools?
Okay. Okay, how do I respond to these questions? We do publish what we've okay, because since some of my how do I say, okay, because some of the project-based learning are done in the classrooms. So most of it, I think, when we share it among our own practitioners as well. Yeah, but when it comes to grants that we receive, basically most of the reporting we share it with our funders.
I see.
Yeah, or the funders. But then I personally would share the findings with my partners from other universities when it comes to, for example, community-based learning and public-based learning. For example, and when it comes to publication, is more on whether like, for I myself would look at, cultural elements in textbooks rather than, so um, I think it is a good idea whenever you have like project-based learning, and one of the deliverables will be publications. Yeah, that would be one of the best way to disseminate, your findings. But as I mentioned in the beginning, when it comes to SOTL, there's always a tension between
Okay, I think Dr. Rafidah had just been disconnected. Either maybe her laptop is switched off, or let me just quickly call Dr. Rafidah. Okay, I apologize on Dr. Rafidah's part. Her laptop has just switched off. I think the battery, she didn't switch it or connect it to the charger. She is on her way, inshallah. She'll use her phone to enter the Zoom again. Please, welcome to have any questions being posted. We have another 5 minutes, inshallah. Very interesting discussion. There was somebody asking, do we get a copy of the recording? Yes, inshallah, we will have. We always email the recording and as well as the slides. And at the same time, Miss often we will also ask speakers to for the slides beforehand. We did receive from the evaluation forms participants asking the slides or the materials before, but when we approach the speakers, there's a lot of time that the speakers are not able to share with us the slides yet. So hopefully we can use it afterwards, inshallah. So Dr. Rafidah is back. Alhamdulillah. Thank you very much, Dr. Rafidah.
My apologies.
You
My
were talking
computer
about,
suddenly.
yeah, it's all right. So you were talking about SOTL just now. You were mentioning about some of the discrepancies of the challenges of SOTL.
Yeah. So, okay, sorry. Okay. I remember what I said before. Okay, so there's always a tension between whether SOTL is focusing on teaching or research. Okay, so in my opinion, you can go either way, but the best way is to go both, to do both. Yeah. So because I started as an educator, I started as a teacher. So my passion lies in teaching. Yeah. So I am guilty of prioritizing teaching first. But then as a lecturer, you cannot run away from publishing your work. So that is something that I am actively working on. But then since my previous experience always be with the communities, my engagement is more on delivering the outcomes with the communities first rather than, the scholarly community. But I do agree. The best way to do SOTL is to excel in both teaching and research.
You mentioned just now that you mentioned about grants. So what were the grants? Is it a SOTL grant that helped you to conduct certain programs? Is that what you are referring to?
Yeah, I did receive SOTL grant, alhamdulillah, thank you. I did, I think for the SOTL grant, I conducted textbook analysis on the cultural elements in textbooks, English textbooks of SALPAD. Okay, the grant that I received for the grants I received for projects with community, I received from MAEX, Majlis Agama Islam Perlis, as well as I also received grants from IT. Yeah, for their problem-based learning. Yeah.
You mentioned just now about you are from the education background, and like us, maybe most of us here are all not, I mean, from the Kulliyyah of education or background education. Our research has been focused on our area, but at the same time, as lecturers, we also need to enhance our teaching and look at it in a scholarly way. So I think it's for us also, it's something totally new. So could you give some advice at the same time, some of the avenues where to publish these kinds of, even we are not aware much about the SOTL grants. So maybe you can enlighten us on that. And then add also, could you please, on one of the questions by Dr. Hazwani mentioned, any thought of embedding Tawhidic paradigms? This is very interesting into our teaching and maybe publishing certain findings.
Yeah, I think we need another half an hour for this.
We have 2 minutes.
So, yeah, we only have 2 minutes.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to SOTL grant, I think it was it I received it from CPD, alhamdulillah. So CPD. And then when it comes to Tawhidic epistemology components in our project-based learning, project-based learning has always, I mean, I think value-based education is mainly a large part of project-based learning, because that is instilled, I think by default it is instilled because we are working with the team members. Yeah, especially when you're combining community-based learning. Yeah, the value-based elements comes in naturally, because most of the real world problems need a value-based approach to solve them. So I think but then because since we are educators and since we are sharing our findings with the rest of the world, I guess it is imperative for us to identify which one, right? Which one that we have to highlight in our research that we are promoting, etc. I think and coming from practitioners like myself, oh, this is interesting. Sorry. Does implementing project-based learning inherently involve a process similar to action research? It can be part of project-based learning, because you need to understand that project-based learning is like a scaffolding framework. Yeah, and a lot of things can be under it. So it's very flexible framework. And then the focus would be, you must have a clear area that you need to investigate, and you must have a tangible outcome. Yeah, and then when it comes to teaching and learning, it should involve both summative and formative assessments for you to measure the learning outcomes. It's already 11 o'clock. I'm afraid.
We'll just maybe just to respond to embedding Tawhidic paradigm. Have you thought of that? And maybe some tips or on embedding Tawhidic paradigm in teaching.
Okay, I guess I think CBL itself, we embed Tawhidic paradigm. Even in my intercultural communication courses, we also have that understanding, understanding how the elements, like our value as being Muslim, how does it influence our attitudes towards other people, for example, like mutual understanding. So that is also part of the core of intercultural communication.
Okay. Last question, Doctor. To do PBL, are we expected to use the FILA table to facilitate the PBL process?
PBL or project-based?
PBL, Doctor, problem-based learning.
Progress learning, well, I'm not really familiar with that. I cannot give you the correct answer now.
Uh,
Can I email you later?
okay, boleh.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Okay, any more questions? I think that's all, inshallah. We had a very engaging session, alhamdulillah. So thank you very much. Let me see whether is Prof. Mira around. Okay, maybe Prof. Mira has something else to do today. So I'd like to promote our program tomorrow. We have seminar which will be delivered by Professor Dr. Fauzia Abdul Rahim, designing effective formative and summative assessments. She is one of the, I think, winners of the award, Murabi Award. So a very good speaker, and hopefully you all can also join and participate, inshallah. So thank you very much once again, Dr. Rafidah, for joining and accepting this session as a speaker. We've learned a lot, alhamdulillah, and hopefully we can also further improve our teaching to our students, inshallah. Before we end, I would like to invite everyone to switch on your camera and for a photo session, inshallah. Sister Hilda will help us today. Or is it Sister Hannah?
Doctor.
Yeah,
My
Sister
sister Uzma.
Uzma. Okay. Yeah, Sister Hannah is available, so Sister Uzma will help us. Okay. So please, have you all ever heard about Duchenne smile? If you Google Duchenne, so it's a type of smile whereby you can search for it. So there's an anatomist. I think he's that scientist anatomist. He kind of not identified, but kind of mentioned or highlighted this concept. So whereby there's certain indicators. It's the best smile. So nanti tak apa, later
So
on you.
what's the best smile then?
Yeah, that's the Duchenne smell too. It's a very.
So as
Let me just type it in the. Yeah, Duchenne is his name. He's a anatomist. I think he's French. He mentioned or characterized this smile, not smell, smile.
Smile, okay.
So the smile among the features there's dipanggil crow feet, and then you can actually see the cheekbone, and then somehow the smile is more pleasant and genuine. So please have a look. So hopefully in next CPD seminars we'll have the best smile. So inshallah, is everyone ready? Sister Hilda, please. Can you? Sorry, Sister Uzma. So all right.
Okay, 1, 2, 3. The first page. 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Okay, second page. 1, 2, 3.
I'm trying as hard possible to have the Dushin smile. So everyone else.
Okay.
So have a look.
Third page. 1, 2, 3. Okay, the last one. Page 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay, done.
Thank you very much, Sister Zuma. Thank you once again, Dr. Rafidah, and thank you to all
Thank you.
professors,
My
associate
pleasure.
professors, doctors, brothers and sisters. Inshallah, please welcome. Please let's see you again tomorrow with a session with Prof. Fauzia. Thank you once again.
Thank
We
you,
begin
students.
with Tasbih Al-Farah and Suratul As. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you. Assalamualaikum. Please fill in the evaluation form and provide us some feedback and response to the topics that you would also want to learn, inshallah, in the future. Thank you, Madam Mazlina, from, I think, CFS. We met during one of the programs. And thank you. Thank you to all.
Thank you, everyone.